Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. So I'm back with another art video today. I've already showed 4 of my GCSE books and I've shown 1 of my AS books which I did in year 12. So today I've got my second book that I did in year 12. So this was my final book for AS. We did 2 books for AS levels. In my school I was the last year to take AS levels for art. So we basically did like a separate qualification to A levels at the end of year 12. So we did 2 books for the ASs. I've already showed my first one, so I'm going to show my second one today, which was my exam book. So the theme was structure, and that's what edexcel chose because we were on edexcel exam board. I ended up getting an A in my AS levels, which I was really happy with because you can't actually get A stars at AS levels, so A was the best that I could have got, so I was really pleased. So yeah, I hope you enjoy having a look through my book and it gives you some inspiration and you just like having a little nose. So I'll leave a link to my art series playlist down below because I've got 5 other art books. I've also got a textiles book that I've looked through and my year 9 art book. So if you think you're going to enjoy looking through them, I'll leave that down below. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into the video. So the theme for my exam book for AS was structure. So as with all my other books, I started with a title page. This is a recreation of a piece by Henrietta Harris and I chose to do this in watercolour paint. And then on acetate, I've just written the title structure in permanent marker over the top. Then an inspiration page, lots of different things that could link to structure, and then inside I have my mind map, so I've got different things around the outside that all could link to structure. And then on the flaps at either side, I've got some artist links. Then I did some boxed work, so the writing over the top is basically describing what medias I've used for each piece, why I've done them, and how they could link to the theme of structure. So underneath I have all my different boxes. So this is chalk, this is pencil, acetate, oil paint, acrylic with oil paint on top, black biro, colour pencil, watercolour paint. This is black fine liner but all done in dots, and this is coffee with a paintbrush. Then similar to one of my GCSE projects, our teacher came up with lots of different mini projects that we could do, that we could choose from. So one of the ones I chose to do was called Distorted Truth. So I've got an inspiration page here. It's quite a similar layout to in my GCSE past, present and or future book. So then I've got artist links here that could link to Distorted Truth and the idea behind it. Then I've got my own recreation. So this was done in acrylic paint. And I've got some photos that I took, and then I did some intaglio printing. So these are my prints. And I've written about my image that I chose to do there, and then just some more photos. Then I chose to do another project called One Person's Rubbish Is. So I've written about the idea here, then I've got an inspiration page, I've got some artist links under here, and then I took some photos of my dad, and this is the progression of making. So I started off by painting just rough guidelines on the canvas, and then I stuck different bits of rubbish onto the canvas. Then I did another project that was called Food for Thought. So I basically got an inspiration page on both of these sides, and then underneath I have some artist links at the side, and then this page is all observation work, biro drawings from observation of fruit and veg. Then I've got an inspiration page based on what I had in mind for my final piece. So again, I wanted to do portraits, and I knew I definitely wanted to do portraits and sort of distort it in some way. So I've got lots and lots of different images on here. Then I wrote down my final idea. So this is all about my final idea. I basically wanted to do a portrait but distort it and change the structure of the face, basically. So then I've got some artist links of similar bits that I really like. Then I did an image analysis. So this is the original image here, and then this is my recreation here. So I have colour pencil, watercolour paint, acrylic paint, pencil, oil paint and oil pastel. And then I've written about my image all around the outside. This is a piece by David Cambria, who I really like. Then I did an artist study on the artist called Cesar Biojo, I think that's how you say his name, but he is such an amazing contemporary artist. I absolutely love his work. I still love it now. So I've got a collection, like an inspiration page of some of my favourite images that he's done. I've written about him as an artist and some information about him. He's a really good contemporary artist, so if you haven't heard of him and you're into portraits, then I definitely give it a go. And on YouTube somewhere, there's a clip of him actually creating one of his paintings, and it's really interesting to watch him do it. Then I did a photo recreation, so I recreated this painting by Cesar Biojo, and this is my recreation in paint. So I used oil, and then this bit on top is in acetate in oil, quite thick to create the texture. And I've got some photos underneath on contact sheet, and then the final photo that's most similar to that one. Then I went on a gallery visit, so I decided to visit the National Portrait Gallery because I knew I wanted to do a portrait, so I thought that was the most obvious place to go. So I've got some artist links and my own recreations. So this is a recreation of this one, and then on here I've done this recreation. And I've got some images from Chuck Close because I thought his work was really interesting in the gallery. Then I took some photos. These were just sort of first idea photos. And then I did some cyanotype from them. Then I decided to do another photo shoot because I decided I wanted to do a self-portrait because you can link it more to structure, like the structure of yourself, and it's just a bit more personal. So I took some more photos at home, which are just here, and then I've taken, done some notes around them, and some more here. And I tested out a couple of different backgrounds. Then I did a pencil studies page, so this is all from observation. So these were all from looking in a mirror, like at myself. And I've used different tonal ranges. So some are just HB, some are this is just HB, this is HB with 4B, some I've used a cotton bud to blend, some I've used a blending tool, some I've not used anything to blend. And then here is a study of my Nan, and I've done it in a similar style to the artist Colin Chillag. So I've just got some references to him on the side and some artist links. Then I practiced using paint. So I tested 2 different colour paper to see how the tones differed and how it turned out. And then from this I decided that I preferred white paper because it's just a bit more bright. Then I practiced acrylic paint. I also did an oil painting, a practice oil painting on canvas, so that's a picture of it there. So I tested out using blue tones as well and linked it to Picasso's blue period. Then I chose my final photo, which was this one, and then around the outside I've written why this is my favourite photo. Then I tested out some composition layouts here, and I chose that I like this one the best because I think it's quite interesting how there's a lot of white space. So then I tested out some different backgrounds. So I got lots of different types, and then I just wrote about them on here. Then I tested out some compositions of how I wanted the paint to be. So I took a lot of inspiration from Cesar Biojo, and I wanted my piece to look quite similar to him. So I wanted to do a portrait and then basically destroy it using paint on a palette knife. So I've done some different compositions of what colour paint I could use and where to place the paint. And these are just all stuck in here. Then I did a mini-me piece. So this is a picture of the canvas of my mini-me. It's probably about an A3 size canvas, and it was just testing out if I was happy with it before I did my final piece. Then I decided to do some printing, so I did lino printing, the original linos here, and then these are all my prints. And I've got some artist links down here by the artist Mark Rowden, and who does lino printing of portraits. Then these are some photos of my piece throughout the making, and I've got my evaluation and a final photo of my piece just here. And that is everything in my book. So that's everything in my book. I'll show you my final piece now. So here is my final piece. I was really pleased with how it turned out. I took a lot of inspiration from Cesar Biojo, which you can probably tell by the style of it. It was 1 metre by 1.5 metres, so it was quite big, the biggest piece that I've ever done, and it was a self-portrait, and yeah, I'm quite happy with how it turned out. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!